You are a veteran. We got to talk about that.
No, man. Most of the time, I like you can go to places and get like military discounts sometimes if you ask or whatever.
Right.
Most of the time, I completely forget. And there's been some good transactions where I go back later and I'm like, oh man, they had a discount. I could have saved like $200 on that. Like, oh no. So yeah, most of the time I'm not like I don't use it as like an accolade of myself. Like it is just something I did. But it's not like that's not me. Obviously, look at these tits. Like these aren't Army issue.
Oh, you don't do like the whole Jocko Willink Jocko, or like you're out of the game now? Because on the thumbnail,
yeah, no, I got out. I was in from 2007 to 2011. I got out. Wouldn't have mattered. It probably would have military medical retired me anyways. Once they figured out that I was actually nuts. So that was like a year later after.
What do you mean nuts? What did they do? What do you mean nuts?
I'm bipolar 1.
Okay.
So I actually had an episode like when I first got out. That was actually pretty bad. But I didn't know it was crazy. It just happened. Crazy doesn't know it's crazy, and that's the truth. So, if I had stayed in the military, like eventually that would have happened, and they would have been like, "Yeah, we'll let you get out, man. Like, we're not sending you back to the desert, dude."
Do you think you got it? Like, what do you think of like your experience in Iraq? So, did you do 8 years in Iraq? Like, how many years did you do in Iraq?
So
and like, how was that?
I did a tour. I went in 08-09, October 08-09. I did one tour. Came back good enough. Our unit got disbanded afterwards, so we kind of like slowly started giving over equipment and like shutting down. So everyone was either getting branched out into other, PCS, different duty stations, or in a different unit. But because, I was getting out within that couple of years getting back, like we weren't back on rotation to go back. So it took a couple of years to like dress it all down. And by that time I was just like, I'm out, like I'm not doing this. Like I came back with my fingers and toes, like let's not play this game with the Reaper.
Yeah.
Didn't even know I was crazy then, but I paid my price eventually, I guess.
Jeez, you keep saying crazy, like it's bipolar, dude. That's not.
It's
level 1, level 2.
It's called manic depressive. You get delusions, and you don't sleep, and eventually you start
delusions. I didn't know you get delusions.
Oh,
you must be bipolar 3.
So bipolar 2 is like more of the emotional type of one, where like bipolar 1 is like it's like fucking best friends with schizophrenia. They hang out in the same circles. So
that's bipolar 1.
I'm not like a violent bipolar. I'm actually what I do is I usually like give away all my stuff. And
but hold on. I thought bipolar 1, 2, 3. I thought the higher the number, the worse the bipolar.
No,
you're saying it's like the number 1 is the fucking.
Yeah, I don't know if there is 3 bipolars. I think there's only 2.
So there's only 2.
Yeah, so the one I have is bipolar 1, which is the manic depressive, is what they used to call it.
Yeah.
Because I think they should have just left it manic depressive, because it literally describes what it is. So like you get like a high. So you get like manic. And what's really crappy about this illness is what people don't really understand is like when you're on that super high before you like come crashing down, or you got to go to a psych ward or whatever it is.
Oh my God.
It's like the happiest you'll ever be in your life. It's the craziest. Like there's nothing that'll put you on that level there and from back on. Like it's just like that. There's like it's complete pure bliss. Like
I love it. I love that. No, dude, I actually was diagnosed as bipolar, and I never took any meds for it. But I was just diagnosed by this doctor in Toronto. It was like a walk-in. It was like a walk-in, and he told me to come back, and he was like, yeah, you have bipolar and you should take lithium. And I looked up lithium and I was like, boring.
Oh yeah, I was on that.
And it makes you gain weight too. So I was like, I don't want that.
Yeah, no, I definitely got fatter after I got out and, had to get on the medication. But it's the only thing that seemed to work, because everything that because, for a couple of years I struggled with it. Some of it, like, because it's so delusional, you almost think that like and when you take the medication, it middles you out.
Right.
And not that it makes you like really numb, but there's no like really excited or, you know, super sad. It's just always like kind of the same. Like kind of like an antidepressive, I guess. They'll just put you on the level and keep you there. So nothing really is too effective or whatever. And what sucks about that is you feel like kind of your spark is gone from like your creativity. And
no, I feel that too.
You have, and that's really rough. So, you know, for a couple of years, I like battle against it. I was like, you know, trying weed, or I would try, you know, something else that would keep that from happening, but it always happened.
Yeah.
And I always ended up in the hospital.
Oh my
God. And it always ruined my life to that point.
But why do you end up in the hospital for being depressed? Like you, what
no. It's the mania and the delusions. Eventually you do something stupid enough, somebody notices, somebody calls the cops.
How stupid are we talking though? Because okay, then maybe I don't have it as bad because and maybe I don't have it. Like it was just some walk-in but I do have the manicness and I don't have the depressive. And I told him that, and he's like, well, maybe you're just shifted up. So you're hyper happy, and then your depressed side is not coming in that low even. So I was like, well, sounds like great.
There was only one time where I was so depressed, like it, you know, it's funny how you hear about all these conditions like anxiety and depression. You know, people describe like, oh, you can't leave or do anything, or, you know, you just don't want to, you know, get out of bed. And you don't understand that till you go through it. You know, I've had anxiety attacks so bad that like, you know, I can't fall asleep or like walk the dog, or like, you know, like you literally feel like, oh my God, like I can't do anything. I'm frozen.
Okay.
But with the depressive stuff, after one episode, I came down so bad that it was like a chore to get out of bed. Like you'd wake up early because the sun was up, and it's like, all I want to do is sleep, but you can't sleep. You're awake. And then like it's a chore to brush your teeth. They're like, even like to get on your phone, you're like, oh, I gotta do, like, you don't want to watch TV. Like I was like, this is how people.
You don't want to watch TV?
Yeah. Like I totally get it now. Like,
because TV is lazy itself, isn't it? Like,
it's like absolutely. TV's like it's so, dude, like how bad it is in your head. You're just
too lazy to watch TV.
Sit and enjoy TV. Like it's just crap right now.
Wow, that is
like a good month, and that was the lowest I've ever been after an episode. But usually don't crash super hard. But with the mania, one story is I was, you know, it's up for, so this is the last time I actually had an episode, which was one of the more, the first episode was super bad because it was actually like hallucinating in real life, and I was in jail and stuff, and they just left
me. You went to jail, dude? Hold on.
Weeks. Yeah, dude.
Hold on. You were in jail?
All right, so I'll explain both stories. So
you rock and roll, you Americans, dude. This is American rock and roll life.
Yeah, so first time I went nuts, I lived in Renton, Washington, and it just came over me one day, and it was like dreams I was having. So I was moving to another comedian's place because I was getting evicted out of my place. Like I was going through some bad personal stuff, and I ended up just getting in my U-Haul and trying to drive to California to see my other friend in Los Angeles, which I eventually moved down there to live with him a couple months later. But like, I didn't know I was crazy. Like I'm in the U-Haul doing 90 in the breakdown lane.
Oh my God, like, in the breakdown lane?
Like all the traffic stopped on the highway, and I'm doing like 90, just pegging it out. I'm like, dude, if I do 88, I can go into the future. Like this is the delusions I'm having.
Wow.
I get pulled over by the police. And they come up like guns drawn, like they're ready, and like I get out, but like I just got out of the military like, you know, a year before, so I had like my military jacket on, like I wasn't dressed all, but like they were like, what's going on? So first I thought I was drunk, so I got arrested for neglected driving and then suspected DUI. I had no drugs or alcohol or anything in my system. Actually, what had just happened that day was Washington had legalized marijuana, and everyone was freaking out because like if you're any type of smoker, it's going to be in your blood, they're going to test it, you're getting a DUI no matter what. Even if you're high, no matter, you're getting one.
Wow.
So like for 3 days or 4 days before, I didn't smoke at all because I was like, I don't want to get a DUI. And I'm not really a big drinker. So they pull me out, they arrest me, put me in the back of the car, and they're like, take me down to the station because they can't, like, because I'm like having a whole meltdown, and you know, I don't know what's really going on. Like, again, everything's just like hitting me at once. And I'm like putting pieces and puzzles together from my whole life. Like, oh, this is it. Like, I'm special. I'm supposed to do something special.
You thought that extra lane was like a portal into the future. You said, if
I
can go down here at
88 miles an hour, I'm
so rock and roll.
Future like, or something. I don't know.
Like God would come down and say, bro, you ran.
Bro. Like, so it was like this weird like quest from God type of stuff, and I'm not a religious person, so it was
my God,
super weird. So I thought I had to deal with like one of my friends from high school that died, and like he was trying to like, because it was right around Christmas time and stuff, like so like I thought it was like this whole like the world's gonna end and I gotta like help save,
and you're on a mission from God
or something like that.
Yeah.
So they take me down to the police station. They, you know, make me do a breath test, and it's all double zeros. And then they made me piss in a cup, and the piss was green. And they're like, I've never seen this before. Well, what they didn't know is I had been pounding like 5-hour energy drinks, which is also super bad on an episode. But like, you don't know that. You shouldn't be doing caffeine on an episode. Just so like when you like I've talked to people that like been addicted to meth. And they're like, it sounds like you were doing a lot of meth. Like, I've never done meth in my life. But like the episode, like your brain speeds up and goes faster and faster and faster. It's why you don't sleep until you eventually start hallucinating. So it's just like it speeds your brain way up. And you're like, I could do really good math on an episode. I'm awful at math. But like when I'm in an episode, I'm amazing.
So you're good at math. You're not just doing fake math. You're doing it's real math.
Like real math, and I would check it with a calculator sometimes. I'd be like, "Wow, how did I know that?" And I'm like, you know, I'm just like I don't realize it on an episode.
The math gives you a little bit of an edge.
Right. It's the episode. Like, oh, you know, like I'm unlocking parts of my brain, man.
Yeah.
So they bring me in. They deem I'm not drunk. There's no drugs in my system. The green piss was due to the energy drinks, and they were just wigged out. So eventually they. This is how I know I have white privilege right here. So I'm in a Eugene, Oregon police station.
Yeah.
And a cop is in front of me. And he's saying something to me, and I'm starting to get like, again, these are delusions. So I'm like, oh shit, like I think I'm special. Like I can do what I want. Like I'm gonna test the world, right? So I spit on him, and then I went and reached for his handgun. And then they, of course, reacted. I got thrown on the ground. And again, this is how I know I have white privilege. I just in a police station. I didn't get tased. I actually didn't even get hurt, nor did they shoot me. They weren't even that rough. They just brought paramedics in and brought me to a hospital. And again,
you idiot.
Yeah. He didn't know I was crazy either. So like, I'm in the
hospital. He like tapped you on the head after. He's like, hey, dumb, stop it.
Was, you know, they locked me. You know, they had me like in lock moves or whatever, so I couldn't move. And they were just like, and I read the report later, and I was like, oh, this is so crazy. Like, so I go to the hospital. While I'm in the ambulance, I feel like we're like traveling to London or something. Like I just feel like we're speeding up and like zipping through. Like they have like I think the cops are on my side. Like I think they're angels and stuff, and like this is all big play,
right?
News or something, because I'm trying to do something.
This is the bipolarism.
I know this is a really crazy story, and I'm leaving out a lot of details. But so I get to the hospital, and they strap me down to a bed gurney or whatever, and I start hallucinating that there's like blacked out soldiers all dressed up in gear running around the hospital killing all the nurses and stuff and the doctors, and I'm freaking out about it, of course, because it looks so real. And then I pass out. So I thought they were going to kill me. Like I thought it was like this conspiracy to like stop Jesus from coming back or something. It was so crazy.
But just to be clear, this is all coming from Bipolar 1.
Yeah, this is a manic episode. This is
I always thought it was just emotional. I didn't know. No.
This is all a manic episode. So it really screws up everything. And again, you don't know you're crazy while you're crazy, nor the first time you're crazy. So you do a lot of stuff, and like, you know, I'm out in Seattle area. Now I'm in Oregon, Eugene, Oregon, 6 hours away in my U-Haul. My family doesn't know where I am. Like friends don't know where I am. I'm just like disappeared off the map. Like gave my cell phone away. Like it's crazy.
Dude, Cameron MP says, wow, this dude is very crazy. LOL. Cameron, have respect, Cameron.
Yeah, for sure. No. Definitely.
This is a veteran.
crazy. But there's magical little pills I take, and it works great. So, so this is the first episode. So I don't know any of this going on, like what's happening. So I wake up in the hospital because they gave me a tranquilizer to like put me to sleep. So it kind of brings me down a little bit base level, enough to be able to kind of work out that I have to pretend to be normal to get out of this hospital. Like,
right.
So I'm able to like get out of the hospital. Like, I'm still crazy and I'm still on an episode. And then I go back to the police station and they're like, oh, looks like you're doing better today. I literally talk to the cops, have a great conversation. And then I leave and go get my U-Haul. And then I find my 5-hour energy drinks in there. Yeah. And I go back on another episode.
And the moral of the story is, you are loved because you are loved. Such is the nature of loving kindness. Okay? So now that I've done my karmas, make sure you do your karmas, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and sign up for meditation. Ascension is upon us, foolish! Sign up for meditation immediately! Ha! Am I still here?